The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
There's bad football teams, and then there's the New York Jets. What an absolute disgrace. It's one thing to tank. It's another thing to quit on your coach. That's what happened today at MetLife. I do not want to hear it from anyone who tries to defend this head coach. I don't want to hear it. The New York Jets quit on Aaron Glenn today at MetLife Stadium. If you don't see that what you're watching is not normal, you are not watching reality. You are not looking at a red flag after red flag of what we're watching here. Again, it's one thing to lose. It's another thing to lose the way the New York Jets lost today. 42-10. And let's be honest, if the Pats wanted to score 70, they could have. Drake May, his day was done with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. They took him out. Oh, my God. If you think what we're watching is normal, you are out of your mind. This is Adam Gase and Rich Kotite levels of bad by the New York Jets. As of halftime in this game, they had a negative 107-point margin in the month of December. That would be the worst for any team in the last 25 years. It was 35-3 at halftime. The roster has talent issues. But getting your ass kicked, embarrassed by a division opponent, that should never happen. You should show some fight, something. It's pathetic. Aaron Glenn has been a disaster in his first season. If Woody Johnson wanted to fire him immediately, he would be justified for doing so. Do I think Woody Johnson has the balls to do it? No, I don't. But I'm not going to sit here and act like what we're seeing is normal. Oh, Jake, what did you expect? Look at the roster. They started 0-7. Then they won a couple games after the trades. And people said, well, the Jets, they're playing hard for Aaron Glenn. They're not doing anything now. They're getting embarrassed. Embarrassed by the Dolphins. Embarrassed by the Jaguars. Embarrassed by the Saints. And then today, we knew they were going to lose. But, oh my God, 42-3 going into the fourth quarter. 42-3. They quit on the coach. They quit on Aaron Glenn today. That's the takeaway. I understand they lack talent. It should never look like this. Congrats to Aaron Glenn. He joins Rich Kotite and he joins Adam Gase as the only Jet coaches to ever lose 14 or more games in a single season. Oh, sorry. That's next week's post-game show because that's what's going to happen. They're going to get destroyed next week against the Bills. They're going to end the year with 5 straight losses by 20 or more points. It's 4 right now. Pathetic. We could talk about how losing might end up being good for this team. Not for this coach. When the Jets eventually turn it around, do we honestly think Aaron Glenn will be the guy to do it? Really? It's ironic this happened against the Patriots. What did New England do last year when they were worse than the Jets? And they had Drake May, by the way. Oh, they fired their head coach, who also was a franchise legend? Maybe Woody Johnson can get some inspiration. Because I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, we got to see what happens. Aaron Glenn's not the guy. He's not. We could sit here and pretend like he one day might be. Okay. I mean, I'll play along, I guess. I'm a Jet fan. I talk about them every day on this channel for 4 hours a day. I hope he proves me wrong, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I have any confidence in that being the case. They quit on him. How are you quitting on a coach in his first year? Oh, but Jake, Aaron Glenn, he needs to get his guys in here. He chose to keep so much of this team together. And he took shot after shot at Robert Saleh and his coaching staff for all the blown fourth quarter leads, the penalties, this and that. How about the taunting penalty the Jets got today? What was it? One of the Clarks when they were down 25 points. That's the button-up, disciplined nature that Aaron Glenn is preaching. 5th season in Jet history with 13-plus losses, and it'll be 14 next week. Joke. Hey, don't let go of the rope, though, folks.
Just don't let go of the rope.
Rope around my neck. At least Aaron Glenn can get a hug from Woody Johnson tomorrow.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
I mean, this is pathetic, folks. It really is. You cannot sit here and try and tell me that what we're watching is normal. It's not. I'm not going to sit here and act like this is what tanking should be. And, oh, this is what happens. Stop. Drake May's day was over with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and the Pats were up 42-3. They quit on the head coach. We do not need to pretend like what we're watching is normal, even for a talent-poor team. 4 straight losses by 20-plus points is not normal. 3-14, which is where they're finishing after next week, is not normal. We understand there's issues, talent-wise, in several areas. I also watched several teams win this week or be competitive this week with way less than what the Jets have. Seriously. Division opponent. Kansas City showed some pride on Christmas night against Denver, did they not? The Vikings showed some pride against the Lions, winning the game with that defense. And Brian Flores' defense doing what they did, coming up with 6 takeaways. You know, the guy the Jets should have hired of the candidates they interviewed. But no, let's keep hiring first-time head coaches and expecting it to change. First-time head coaches from a defensive background and expecting a different result. At least Robert Saleh was good at coaching defense. What does Aaron Glenn do well as a head coach? See, you want to sit here and say it's not fair to fire a guy after a year? Tell me what Aaron Glenn has improved with this team. Tell me what Aaron Glenn does well as a head coach. What is his specialty? Other than getting up there and saying bullshit catchphrase.
Just don't let go of the rope.
What does Aaron Glenn actually do well as a head coach? Is he a great strategist? Is he great with X's and O's? Is he great at motivating guys and getting them to play hard? What does he do well as a head coach?
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're shit.
He said we'd see improvement, we'd see player development. We've seen none of it. I don't care if the New York Jets get Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore or Ty Simpson, whoever. Ultimately, if the head coach is this big of a disaster, the Jets will be what the Bears were with Matt Eberflus, what the Jaguars were with Urban Meyer, what the Broncos were with Nate Hackett. Go down the line. What the Titans were this year with Brian Callahan. Like, we're just delaying the inevitable. Like, does anyone actually think Aaron Glenn is going to turn this around? He is actually going to be able to master his craft as a coach. We could pretend like, oh, it's all going to get better with more talent. Okay. They're going to finish with 3 wins this year. How many games are they winning next year? Everyone says, oh, the Jets are going to be like the Lions. The Lions won 9 games in their second year of their quote-unquote rebuild. And how are the Lions doing right now without Ben Johnson, oh, by the way? Coaching matters more than ever, especially in a sport that is predicated on offense. Offensive coaching matters more than ever. Does anyone think Tanner Engstrand is equipped to oversee the development of one of these quarterbacks? The Jets quarterback coach is a former college running back who has barely ever coached quarterbacks. His name is Charles London. Google him, Jet fans. That's who Aaron Glenn hired. After saying that Justin Fields has never been coached properly, and we're going to let him play quarterback, and we're going to give him $30 million guaranteed and then bench him after 9 weeks. That's what their master plan was. Now let's give him another crack at drafting a quarterback? Great. The only positive today is that Cleveland won. Great. Does that mean anyone should feel confident that we got the right coach for the quarterback we're about to take? I don't know how anyone could. And again, Aaron Glenn is a franchise legend, really good player, however you want to describe it. If he did not play for the Jets 30 years ago, would anyone still be sitting here saying he needs more time? He deserves another year. Remove your bias and objectively analyze what we're watching. What has improved this year. What does he do well as a head coach? When you're down 35-3 before halftime against a division opponent, and then 42-3 after 3 quarters, that's a team that quit on its head coach. And if you don't see that, there's bigger problems than just the talent issue on the Jets, you're missing the point. What were the Browns playing for today? Why were they motivated to win? Explain that to me. How could the Jets look this bad? I don't know how anyone could watch today and sit there and think, yep, this is normal. They're just tanking. It's fine. It magically gets better when they add some players or they spend some money in free agency. Please call in and tell me why you have confidence in Aaron Glenn if you're one of the people out there who's in my mentions calling me all sort of names for being honest about this football team. You think I don't want Aaron Glenn to succeed? I hope he makes me eat my words. But he's a terrible head coach until proven otherwise. He doesn't do anything. Again, he shows up at 8:05 a.m. He gets his daily hug from Woody Johnson.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
And then you need to tell me what else he does after that. Because the defense still sucks, right? Remember, he's going to be more involved with the defense? Well, have you seen the defense the last 2 games? In the final 2 games with Steve Wilkes, the Jets got outscored 82-30. That's a negative 52-point differential. In their first 2 games without Wilkes, they've been outscored 71-16. A negative 55-point differential. And can we stop saying, oh, Jake, the talent, look, they're playing third stringers. Jermaine Johnson was out there for all these games this year. Will McDonald, he didn't play today. He's been out there for all these games this year. When they had Sauce and Quinnen, the defense still sucked. He promised player development. Remember, he puffed his chest about Will McDonald adding more pass rush moves to his arsenal. It's coaching, man. It's coaching. Will McDonald had 8 sacks this year. 4 of them came in 1 game. He took a major step back. Quincy Williams just forgot how to play football, apparently. Jamie and Sherwood just forgot how to play football after he was voted team MVP last year. They had a former first-team All-Pro on all 3 levels of their defense. This coaching staff destroyed this defense. They weren't great last year. I had my issues with them. It was never this bad. This is pathetic. What the Jets put out there on the field today is such an indictment on the head coach. And if Woody Johnson's watching this team and he sees his entire building filled with Patriots fans, the Jets got booed when they were in pregame warmups. They got booed during pregame introductions. Drake May's getting MVP chants throughout the game. He was a Patriot last year. The Jets won more games than the Patriots a year ago. And then what changed? Robert Kraft had balls, and he realized, I got the wrong guy. And while it sucks to have to fire a Patriot legend, I got to do it. Woody Johnson, the ball's in your court, man. Oh, he doesn't want to have to pay a coach to not work for him. Okay, well, have fun doing it a year from now when the Jets are 4-13. 5-12. Does anyone actually think this gets magically better by just adding Fernando Mendoza to this team? Does anyone actually believe that? Seriously, this goes so beyond just the talent. You have a defensive staff that is being blown into smithereens, right? He already fired Wilkes. Who's he going to hire? Why would anyone take this job to work for Aaron Glenn, knowing he's on the hot seat? Oh, but Jake, be patient. They have all these picks. Great. Ask Joe Douglas about patience. He had 6 years. All these teams can turn it around immediately. You watch DeMeco Ryans and the Texans, 3 straight years, 10 or more wins. They won playoff games the last 2. Same situation as Glenn. Took over a bad situation and immediately turned things around. And it's not like C.J. Stroud's been unbelievable. He's a great defensive coach and is an expert on that side of the ball and has coached up that unit. They're on their 3rd offensive coordinator in 3 years there. But you know what? They figure it out. Why? Because that's coaching. That's coaching, man. That's coaching. No one talks about that. Mike McDonald in Seattle, another defensive guy. You know what he does? He calls the plays on defense. Aaron Glenn's defenses in Detroit were not even that good. That's the dirty little secret, right? So we hired a defensive-minded head coach who's not even good at calling defense. So we hired Steve Wilkes, who's been one and done in his last 5 jobs, and now he couldn't even get through his first year. Now we got to rely on that guy to now hire a new defensive coordinator. Oh, and pick a quarterback after he said that Fields was his handpicked quarterback because he was really tough to game plan against when he was in Detroit. Again, I don't mean to just sit here and pummel the head coach, but I have to because people need to wake up and see the bullshit that we're being fed. If you think this changes next year with draft picks and free agent money, enough. It doesn't work that way. We've seen this how many times as Jet fans? You can't win without coaching, and this guy doesn't have a clue.
We're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it. So
we went from that to this.
Just don't let go of the rope.
Embarrassing. And if you are supporting this coach, you have to explain why. You have to tell me why you believe it magically improves. What tangible evidence do you have that anything you were watching here actually gets better next year? Tell me. This is the worst coach Jets team I have seen. And I lived the Adam Gase era. All right. Thank God I didn't remember Kotite. But all year, people that did were telling me this is what it looked like. This is what it looked like. They have been blown out in more games than they've been competitive in. I mean, this is a joke. And again, if Aaron Glenn figures it out, he'd be a major outlier. Just 4 of 17 coaches that started 0-6 or worse actually turned it around and got their team to the playoffs. Zach Taylor had a Hall of Famer in Joe Burrow. Kyle Shanahan is, well, Kyle Shanahan. Jimmy Johnson had Troy Aikman, and that was a different time. What do the Jets have? A coach who doesn't call plays on either side of the ball? A coaching staff that has shown you nothing to be able to develop a quarterback? How does this change? Again, I was as hard on Adam Gase as any human to ever live. But Adam Gase won 7 games his first year with a worse roster. Aaron Glenn is going to win 3 with a far better team. Don't tell me, oh, Jake, this roster, what do you expect? I lived the Gase era. I remember it. This team has more talent than the team that Gase and Greg Williams somehow won 7 games with. They were 1-7. Then they finished 6-2. They weren't any good. But you know what? They won games. The Jets can't win games if their special teams, led by Chris Banjo, who's the only good hire Aaron Glenn has made, if their special teams did not steal a win against Cleveland with 2 touchdowns in the first quarter on a kick and punt return, they have 1 less win right now. They needed special teams to win against the Atlanta Falcons. They needed Atlanta to muff a punt at the 2-yard line for the Jets to get a score, and then for Breece Hall, and then for Nick Folk to hit a 55-yard kick in the rain to win. I don't know how people could sit here and think that this team is laying the foundation like the head coach said they are. I mean, this is an abomination, what we're watching. If you think this is acceptable, I mean, you gotta smash your head into a wall, all right? Or check yourself into a rehab or something, man. It's not normal. This shouldn't look like this. 42-10 to a division opponent. The Jets have been mollywomped in their division games this year. Aaron Glenn said he wanted to make sure that the Jets' last home game is a game fans can remember. Oh, all 7 of Jet fans there today. Won't forget this one. Joke. Absolute joke, but I'm glad he can get his hug from Woody tomorrow morning.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
I'm so sick of it. Again, I would love to be wrong. I don't know if Woody has the balls to fire him. I'm not going to sit here and say that Woody would be wrong for doing it, though. It's that bad. If you want to make the argument, you certainly can. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. We're going to give away a Chad Pennington signed helmet on the show today. A little listener appreciation. Send in a $10 super chat or higher to qualify, or gift the community a membership. We'll put you in the raffle. This week's raffle prizes include a signed Joe Klecko jersey, signed Darrelle Revis jersey, and a signed Dom Maynard football. It's a Hall of Fame themed raffle. Thank you to everyone who still tunes into the show. Please hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. It goes a long way towards helping the show continue to grow. Benigno will be on with us at 11 a.m. tomorrow. I'm doing the morning show on ESPN. I'm in for DiPietro and Rothenberg tomorrow morning from 6 to 10 and then I'll hustle home, and Joe B will join us for his weekly segment on the show at 11. So keep that in mind. Also, tonight, after Sunday Night Football, I will be on TV. I'm a guest on NBC's Sports Final tonight. So if you're watching this before 11:30-ish, you can watch me on TV tonight. I got the suit picked out and everything. We'll be ready to roll, baby. So I'll be on with John Chandler on NBC Sports Final after Sunday Night Football tonight. So a little TV for your boy here. So looking forward to that one. All right. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. I'm going to get to everyone on the line who wants to call in. We're going to get to the super chats, but I'd love to hear from Mr. Accountability first. Here's the head coach of the Jets trying to explain why he's dog shit at his job.
All right, injuries that we had in the game. Stigger's knee, Isaiah, I'm sure he'll be in concussion protocol. Simpson had a knee, Brees had a knee. I think that was about it when it comes to the injuries. When it comes to this game, highly disappointed on the way that we came out to allow this team to come out and score, I think, on the first 6 drives. It was not good. Offensively, we were stagnant also.
Sorry.
We allowed them to pressure the quarterback through another interception this game, which was not good. And, man, I always talk about how we come out and we play with effort. Today was probably the one time I feel like our effort wasn't as good as I would want to be. And that's just me not BSing you guys, just being on this. I didn't think the effort was where it needed to be. We have to figure that out. We have one more showing, all right, against a good team.
Resign. That's how you figure it out. Resign.
Against a playoff team. And we have to get ourselves going, practice this week, and get ourselves going. That's just about it. That's what we have to do because today was definitely not good enough. So any questions?
Aaron, when you see the 35-3 score at half and it was 300-something yards from them,
Yeah.
do you worry at all that guys are checking out a little bit as the season comes to a close?
Not worried about them checking out. I'm more worried about just the psyche of just seeing 35-3. Because at some point, man, it's not about the score anymore. It's about the pride that you go out there and play with. And again, I'm always going to talk about how our guys play with effort. But today, I didn't see the effort that I felt like we needed to go out there and compete at a high level.
You didn't think the effort was there. How was the strategy? How were the X's and O's today?
I actually thought that we had a really good plan going to this game. I really did, on both sides and on special teams. And those guys went on, they made plays. I give those guys credit. They made plays. They for their defense, they hit our quarterback quite a bit, and they made plays on the ball quite a bit. Their offense, man, their quarterback, and I've said this for a long time, he's playing at a high level. And, man, they caught some balls on us in man-to-man coverage that, you give them credit for. The ball that Diggs caught, over Stiggs, I mean, that was just a hell of a play by him. On some of our young guys in the back end, they made hell of a plays. We missed some tackles that we shouldn't miss, right, that also showed up. So I don't want to say it's truly the X and O's. I just think their guys made plays. And that's what this game's about, fellas. I mean, playmakers make plays, and those guys made more plays than us.
No. Hold on. Let me stop you there. Coaches put players in position to make plays. Did you hear what the Vikings players said about Brian Flores after their win on Christmas? They said, Coach Flo always puts us in position to make plays. It's been a problem all year. Your team doesn't have an interception through 16 games. You broke the NFL record last week. Coaches put players in position to make plays. That's their job. If the Jets were competitive and losing, we would get it. When you play a team like the Pats, when you're outmanned against a great team, which, by the way, how great are they? Or are they just so well coached, right? Vrabel's a hell of a coach. McDaniel's a hell of an offensive coordinator. The Pats were worse than the Jets a year ago. Coaches put players in position to be successful. He doesn't call plays on offense or defense. His defenses weren't that good in Detroit. He already fired his handpicked defensive coordinator. He got 9 games of his handpicked quarterback. He has not done anything well. There's not one thing this head coach he can hang his hat on. You want to tell me special teams? Great. That's not enough. And let's be real. Mike Westhoff recommended Chris Banjo to Glenn. You want to give Glenn credit for hiring him? Fine, give Glenn the credit for that. Is that really enough? Is that where we're at as fans? We're just going to highlight, well, we got a great special teams coordinator. I got news for you. The next head coach can retain Chris Banjo. How many different head coaches was Brent Boyer a part of with the Jets? Bowles, Gase, Saleh, survived 3 coaches. How many different coaches was Mike Westhoff working with when he was the Jets special teams coordinator? That's not enough, man. Oh, great special teams. And then for a while was, well, they play hard for this head coach. No, they don't. They quit on him. He just said the effort today. It's the first time he's questioned it. This is not the first time that you could question the effort. They laid down like a dog and died in Jacksonville too, and Miami. All right, that's where the effort went up in flames. They quit in those games too, let's be real. But he's actually acknowledging it today. This ain't the first time. They're 0-5 against the AFC East this year with a negative 95-point differential. It'll be well over 100 by the time we get through the Bills game at this time next week. Anyone who thinks what we're watching is normal, anyone who thinks Aaron Glenn's going to turn around and be this great coach, please tell me how. When you can't name one goddamn thing he does well. Not one. Other than have great dance moves. Oh, yeah. I mean, I get so mad because I have people that just like blindly think that this just magically fixes itself. On what planet does this magically get better just because they get a quarterback? The Patriots had Drake May last year. It didn't matter. Why? Because they didn't have the coaching. The two go hand in hand. We don't have either. So great. Give Aaron Glenn, Fernando Mendoza, give him Dante Moore. It does not matter when this coach is this bad. It doesn't. The staff is brutal. He hired them. He already admitted he fucked up the Wilkes hire. Excuse my language. I can't speak like this on NBC later, but I can let it out now. I can vent now because I'm so disgusted with this team. And people are defending this. You're part of the problem. This is not normal. Not normal.
When you talk about pride and effort, like how disappointing is that when you know you've been saying I'm evaluating everybody at this point? You know, how disappointing?
Yeah, that's very it's very disappointing, you know, to see that. But I'm always say this, you know, I'm upset with the effort, but I'm also upset with us as coaches too, though. And again, it's going to start with me, you know, of getting these guys ready to play against a hell of a team for our last like home game, right, this season. And that bothers me. It does in front of our fans.
Hold on. You're not in front of your fans. You were so bad this year that the building was only littered with Patriots fans. The Jets got booed in player introductions. I had videos sent to me and tagged on Twitter from Jet fans who actually were there. All 7 of them. I mean, this was a Patriot home game today. Oh, my God. What a disgrace.
To let them see, you know, how we end this season and we end it like that, it bothers me.
This is the, I mean, at least statistically, it's like the worst December in history in terms of point differential with the four blowouts in a row. What can you, just to be in this position, you know, kind of looks dark from the outside. I mean, what is it like for you?
And I totally understand that. I really do. But I would say that there's a lot of things that I think that we've improved. And that's more from the inside than what everybody see when it comes to stats and things like that. But I know we still have a long way to go, and it's not a good look, you know, when you give up that many points and then not score at all. And I'm not one that's going to sit here and blame, you know, a rookie quarterback. I'm not going to sit here and blame, you know, injuries and things like that. I'm not going to do it because I think all those guys are well versed to go out there and compete at a high level, and we didn't all get it done. Coaches and players, we all did not get it done.
What happened with Tyrod being out today, and would he be available for you next week?
Well, he had a personal issue, and I don't want to answer that until I get ready to talk to him about next week.
With Brady Cook, he was kind of a project coming out of Missouri, and he had accuracy issues there. He has accuracy issues here. What made you go with him in the number 3 slot?
Say that one more time.
Why did you go with him as the number 3 with him being such a project who needed so much?
We had Justin as our starter, and Tyrell was our backup, and he did some really good things in training camp. You know, between him and Martinez, we felt like he won the job. And I think everyone saw that throughout the preseason. So we felt like he would be a really solid number 3 for him to continue to improve. Now, when things went, somewhat crazy and both of our quarterbacks went down, I mean, him getting a chance to play for us was an option that we want to see him play. And listen, it hasn't been to everyone's liking, and I think he will say that also. But he's a young guy. I do think he still have the traits to be a good quarterback in this league. He just got to continue to get reps.
When we talked to Aaron back during before the season started, you're talking about the goals to win and what the goals to win now.
Absolutely.
Not putting words. I imagine you didn't see this kind of a season coming. So when you see 3-13 mark, a 3-13 record, how do you process that and stomach that?
You know what? And I'll go back to that because I don't think I think we all got to be crazy to think that someone would answer a question saying that we're not ready to win now.
Oh, here we go. Hold on. Get ready, folks, for the Aaron Glenn spin cycle here. He responded to Quinnen Williams tweeting after they got rid of Rodgers, guess we're headed for another rebuild. And he pushed back on it when he said this.
We're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it. So any questions?
That was part of a longer answer about how they're looking to win. They're going to add players to help them win, right? They split the Rodgers cap hit over 2 years, indicating that, okay, they're not just going to tank this year. They're trying to win. He referenced the 7 leads they blew in the fourth quarter a year ago and how the last 4 minutes of each half belonged to the coach, referencing the fact that with better coaching and they could clean up the penalties, the lack of discipline, none of which has happened. They can't even get to the fourth quarter with a lead because the game is over in the first quarter this year. At least last year, we thought we had a chance to win some games, right? So you have all that, and now he's about to say, what coach would come in and say we're not trying to win? Robert Saleh came in and said, look, this is going to be a tough year. It's going to be about player development. Said off the record to the beat, we're going to go through it. We got to turn this roster over. We were a 2-win team last year. The Jets were better than a 5-win team last year. They didn't have a kicker. They had this version of Nick Folk. They had 3 more wins a year ago. We're just going to pretend like that's not part of this? Again, he could spin it however he wants. He said this year's goal is to give Jet fans a team they're proud to root for. And then backpedaled off that and said, I never said when. I have all the clips, all of them. Everything this coach has said is on the record, all of it. Watch this spin he's going to try and give us now.
So I think every coach would say that. And before you play any games, man, you have this feeling of how you go through training camp. You go to OTAs, you go through training camp, you feel good about everything. And then as the season starts and things don't go your way, the only thing you think about is like, what are the things you have to do to get better, right, for the next season? And that's what I think about quite a bit. And there's a number of things I have in my head that I keep to myself, and then with me and moods and things like that. But the only thing I think, man, how do we get better? How do we improve? How do we make sure that the players that is going to be a part of what we have
resign on a napkin like Belichick did? That's how you get better. Since that won't happen, I'll root for you to improve. But we got no evidence to think you have any idea what you're doing.
Understand this foundation that we're building, and I think a lot of guys do. I really do. I think they believe in exactly what we're trying to do. Man, we just got to get over that hump to be able to get to that next level of where we want to be as far as winning games. But I do know this. I'm a huge believer in everything that we're doing. Listen, I know the record does not show that, but I'm confident moving forward that we'll be just fine.
Take a couple more. A two-parter. One, him going over 1,000.
Say one more time.
Brees going over 1,000.
Really? Remember, this was Aaron Glenn previously.
Nothing different than I've been saying. Listen, I want this to be a team that the fans are proud of. But again, I never said that we're going to be proud of them right now.
I never said they'd be proud of them right now. Yeah, you did.
Good question. And to me, I will continue to say, like, just don't let go of the rope, because there is a plan, there is a vision. From day one, we've been trying to set the foundation of what we want this team to be. And a lot of that is from in-house perspective for the most part. You still have a number of things that you have to go through as far as, man, making sure that
you know what? I played the wrong clip, folks. This is actually, I believe, the original origin of Aaron Glenn talking about what would define a successful season.
Find a successful season. I want to be a team to where the fans will look up and say, we're proud of that team. And if they say that, I'll be happy. I'll be happy because within that, I know that wins will come.
But apparently he said this too.
Something different than I've been saying. Listen, I want this to be a team that the fans are proud of. But again, I never said that we're going to be proud of them right now.
Okay. I just played it. You did. Does anyone actually have, is anyone proud of the team you're watching? Are you proud of this, Jet fans? You excited to have to root for losses every year at this time? You excited to have to bookmark tankathon.com and constantly be checking it out? So much fun, right? More from the head coach before we get to your calls. And again, I'm pissed off, but I love this fan base. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're going to give away a signed Chad Pennington helmet at the end of today's show. Thanks for sticking with this show that talks about a football team that's about to be 3-14 and has a playoff drought that is 15 years and counting. You guys are the greatest.
Getting the long run at the end, and also, perhaps more significantly, his injury. Does it look like it might be a serious injury?
You know, that's hard to tell right now. There's not. I've said this during the week. Me and Brees, man, we're happy we got the 1,000. But I think, well, I know he will want wins more than just 1,000 right now. So, but a good accomplishment for him. But we have a lot of work to do. Just in general, in all three phases, for me to sit here and say, man, I'm just, gung-ho about 1,000 yards right now, to be honest with you.
What do you say to Woody when you see him in the locker room after the game or tomorrow when you talk to him? I imagine he's very frustrated, right?
Hold on. I know what he says to Woody. Woody, is it time for a hug?
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
Oh, yeah. A little milk and cookies tomorrow, too, in the office.
Now, with what he saw today. And
just as I am, too.
But, he sits here, the stadium's filled with Patriots fans, cheering MVP for their quarterback, and, it's 35-3 at halftime. What's your message to Woody?
I think Woody knows just as well as I'm not going to BS him about anything at all. And I think that's the one good thing about our relationship is we all going to be straightforward with each other. And the number one thing is we got to get better. And I think that's obvious. We have to get better. And then we have to just talk. So what are those things that we have to do to make sure we get better? And those are some things I definitely keep, between us and even with Mooj. And I think we put our heads together and we start to figure out, what steps we got to take so we can accomplish that. I do know there's a belief in me. I do know I believe in him. And that's why I'm glad I took this job. It's because of ownership. And
now you took this job because you conned the owner into giving you full autonomy. You've never been a head coach before. You've never been a general manager before. Your defenses in Detroit were not any good. You had one good year where you actually were top 10 in defensive EPA. You had one good year in Detroit defensively. You took this job because you were able to con Woody Johnson, as many have before, into giving it to you. Stop it. You're lucky you took this job. You're lucky you played for the Jets. Because if, maybe 75% are out on Glenn, maybe it's more now after this, it'd be 95% if he didn't play for the Jets. Let's be honest. If Aaron Glenn wasn't an awesome player 30 years ago, I think anyone still trying to have hope and defend him, that'd be gone. All right. He already has squandered all the built up equity he had being a former Jet, being someone who wanted this job. I'm someone who never wanted them to hire Glenn or any first-time head coach. But after his first presser and the things he was saying, you wanted to root for him. He wanted this job. You want to believe. But we got to separate us rooting for him as a person because he's a good dude and us rooting for him because he's a former Jet, and that matters. And understand that at the end of the day, it is about turning the Jets around and winning. And there's no evidence to support the fact that he has any idea how to do that. This press conference, he is a defeated man. He is dead man walking in this presser. The only thing saving him is the fact that the owner is incompetent and maybe won't pull the plug or doesn't want to pull the plug because of all the money he's owed or whatever the reason is. I mean, they quit today. He acknowledged they quit today. Don't tell me, oh, Jake, it's tanking. This is what it looks like. No, he knows this is not what it looks like. Anyone around football could tell you this is not what it looks like. Did you hear Bart Scott and Willie Colon on SNY talking about this? If anyone thinks the Jets being embarrassed now 4 consecutive games by 20 or more points is acceptable, is normal, no. It's one thing to lose because you don't have talent. They quit on their coach today. He doesn't have answers for it. Nothing.
What he's about, what Mooj is about, what this organization is about. And listen, the one thing that I think about on a daily basis, how do we get over this hump so we can be a team that's going to win continuously? And that's all I think about. And I think he knows that too. So that would be my message. I'm disappointed. I know he's disappointed. So now we got to figure out what do we do to make sure we get over that hump and move forward.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
What do? They admit before you draft a rookie quarterback and make the same mistake this franchise made with Sam Darnold, you admit you hired the wrong guy and you don't compound the mistake by doubling down on it. That's what you should do. Do I think the Jets would actually do what is right? No, I don't. So I sit here as a diehard fan of this team who's rooting for them to win, who thinks the head coach is really, really bad at his job, just hoping that it magically gets better. And great. That's all we have. Hope. Oh, but Jake, all the draft picks. Oh, yeah. All the cap space. We have done this so many times, Jet fans. Please, for the love of God, just objectively look at the team today and don't try and rationalize it. This is not normal. What we're seeing, it's not. There's other coaches out there who would have done a way better job than what we have seen this year. The only reason why they had to trade Sauce and Quinnen in the first place is because they started 0-7. And then where are the people who told me, well, Jake, you look at Glenn, they've won 3 of 5. Oh, it's like, man, their wins are against Dylan Gabriel, Kirk Cousins, and Joe Flacco, and their special teams needed to steal each of those games if we're being objectively honest in our assessment. This is a really bad football team that is not as bad as what the talent is. Again, a lot of these guys on defense the last couple of weeks have been good players in the past. And even when they had Sauce and Quinnen before those deals, it didn't matter. They sucked. It's just there's so many red flags. If people can't see that, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Enter the raffle to win a Chad Pennington signed helmet. Watch me on Sports Final tonight on Sunday night, right after Sunday Night Football. And then tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., bright and early, 4 hours of radio. And then we'll go live at 11 a.m. for the weekly Joe B segment. All right, some super chats here. And then we will get to the calls. Tyrone writes in, we won in draft position, but Glenn needs to go. Yeah, the only positive today is the Browns obviously won. So the Jets right now are at pick 3. Depending on how you're rooting, Jet fans, in this Giant Raider game, right now, as I sit here, there's 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. The Giants are up 7-3. If the Giants win, I do think there's a path for the Raiders to win next week against the Chiefs. So I'm not going to be furious if the Raiders are picking at 1 and then the Jets would remain at 3. Like the Giants, if they lose, they only would fall to 2 based on the strength of schedule. It's going to come down to next week. I think the Jets are okay, though. I'm not worried about the draft positioning just yet. I'd love to have the number 1 pick. I'd love to not have to trade anything to get a quarterback, but there's bigger issues than that right now to discuss following this game. We'll have all week to talk about the different scenarios with the draft based on the result of this Giants-Raiders outcome. Hexen says, Pats only had 344 yards in the first half. Jets defenses are doing their job. I'm so proud of what AG has built here in less than a season. I mean, I wrote it down. The Jets allowed 344 total yards in the first half. That's more yards than the Jets have had in like multiple games combined this year. New England did that in a half. Again, guys, the Pats had Drake May last year. They won 4 games last year with Gerard Mayo. It's all coaching. Anyone who thinks that, the Jets, they need all this to rebuild their it's like, look around the league, man. Carolina's figured it out. Houston figured it out. Washington figured out. These teams were all worse than the Jets at various points over the last 5 years. Forget the last 15 years of this playoff drought. They turn it around instantly. Jacksonville. Look at the draft order from last year. Look at the Bears. They came in last place in their own division 3 straight years till this year. It is all coaching, man. People need to wake up. Does anyone actually think Aaron Glenn's a great strategist? Great leader of men? They quit on him. He admitted it in his post game. What are we doing, man? Jacksonville last year was picking in the top 5. New England was pick 4. You go through like the list of like some of these recent teams, you'll say, oh, but they have a quarterback. Again, Aaron Glenn picked Justin Fields, and he was not bad. He was as bad as he's ever been, worse than he's ever been. There's so many red flags. We could pretend like, oh, it's just talent, or, oh, they just need to get the quarterback. We've done this before, man. We have done this too many times. We could pretend like it'll be different next year. Okay. I hope you guys are right. I really do. I would love nothing more than be dead wrong about this coach if he's the guy that's going to help us get back to the playoffs, right? Would love nothing more. I don't see it. I got to be honest. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I won't. Got to give you my honest opinion. Some of you might like it. Some of you might don't. Right? I got to be honest. Like, if I'm wrong, I own it. But I'm not going to fake it. I'm not going to pretend like I see all these positives. And, the head coach said this week they're laying the foundation. Does anyone actually effing believe they're laying the foundation? Listen to this coach. This was on Monday after they played the Saints and lost 29-6. This was Glenn on Monday last week. And now they followed that up by losing to the Patriots 42-10 in a game New England could have put 70 on the board if they wanted to. It was 35-3 at halftime. This was the head coach on Monday.
That's a good question. And to me, I will continue to say, like, just don't let go of the rope, because there is a plan. There is a vision. From day one, we've been trying to set the foundation of what we want this team to be. And a lot of that is from in-house perspective for the most part. You still have a number of things that you have to go through as far as, man, making sure that everybody understands exactly what you're trying to accomplish when you, like, what type of team do you want to be. And our guys know that. They do. But listen, we have to continue to work on that. Between me and Moose, we got to continue to, like, players that we want. Like, that whole deal is something that we continue to look at. And for the fans, listen, it's going to be a tough road, and we knew that. But, man, the thing is, we know exactly what we're doing, and we do have a plan. And just don't let go of the rope. I would say that.
I got the rope right here. It's choking me out, Aaron. Joke. I'm so disgusted with this. If I don't laugh at the absurdity of having to root for this team and expecting a different result when they continue to do the goddamn same thing over and over again, I don't know what to tell you. The only thing I will say is thank God for the Knicks. That's it. And go Islanders. That's about it I got right now. It's depressing, dude. It really is. How many more years do we have to take watching this? Right? If they don't fire Glenn now, and I still don't think Woody will do it, we're going to have the same conversation a year from now. No, I'm sorry. Nothing is changing. We're just going to be wasting a year of whichever quarterback they end up drafting and hoping that the next coaching staff could come in and turn things around. Darth Crypto, thank you. He's the first person to gift today. He's in our raffle for 2. Thank you, Mr. Crypto. I appreciate you. Terry says, Jake, there's no effing way, even as incompetent as Woody is, you could bring Glenn back. I mean, if anyone could do it, it's Woody Johnson. Jetpack, I'm actually shocked they didn't hang 50 on us. They could have. Drake May was literally benched with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter at 42-3. Bino, minus 107, worst point differential in NFL history. Worst December point differential. Again, what we're watching is not normal. Oh, Jake, they're tanking. The Jets aren't the first team to play a Brady Cook level quarterback this late in the year. The Chiefs nearly beat Denver the other night with Chris Oladokun. Denver's going to be the 1 seed in the conference. Max Brosmer and the Vikings just want to get, like, teams find a way, man. What was Cleveland playing for today? What are we doing, man? We don't need to pretend. We don't need to make excuses for Aaron Glenn. He should have to win us back over, not us trying to simp for him and make excuses for the guy. He has done a poor job. as bad of a job as any Jet coach has ever done in their first year. No one's done worse record-wise. No one's ever started worse than 0-4. He started 0-7. No one has ever lost 14 games in their first year. Saleh won 4 with a worse roster. Remember the Jets were competitive against the Bucs at the end of that first year with Saleh? There were some signs, man. Not much. There were some signs. And that was with worse quarterbacks than Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor, right? Like Zach Wilson stinks. They won 4 games with him. I guess Mike White won one of them too. It's unreal, man. The Bengals went to the Super Bowl that year, by the way. What's the win Aaron Glenn has to point to? That his program's working. You can't tell me, coach, you're laying the foundation when you're going to have 50% roster turnover this year. You fired Steve Wilkes already, so that means there's new assistants on defense coming in. You're going to have a new defensive scheme. What foundation is being laid here? We just need to acknowledge this has been an abject disaster, and if they can make a change now, they actually could maybe get the right guy for this quarterback, whoever it might be. Mike McCarthy is out there. Clint Kubiak, if you're going to go first time, or Josh McCown, if you're going to go first time, it cannot be another defensive first coach. Look at Cohen in Jacksonville. Look at Ben Johnson in Chicago. It's the offensive strategists that are having success, and the defensive coaches are calling the plays for their defense and really good at it, which Glenn was not in Detroit. The numbers back it up. I will continue to show this graphic that Ryan Sampson of the New York Post posted last week on his Twitter account. McDonald was an elite defensive coordinator in Baltimore. Elite. D'Amico was an elite defensive coordinator in San Fran. He learned from Saleh. And say whatever you want about Saleh, he's an elite defensive coordinator. We know that. What does Aaron Glenn do well other than dance and give Woody Johnson a big fat hug every morning? I hate to be that guy. I hate to be this depressing, but I got nothing, man. I got absolutely nothing to hold on to that gives me any confidence this organization has any clue what they're doing. Some in the Phoenix says, picks for coaches in 26, Harbaugh with our first pick, Dable with the other first. I'm not trading a first rounder for Brian Dable, who's fired in a free agent. But thank you for the super chat. NY Jets fandom. Jake, imagine Gruden/Schwartz team will not be pathetic. I would take anyone right now. Honestly, Adam Gase wins more games with this team than Glenn has. That's how bad this has been. People, wake up. People need to wake up. It's not normal what's happening here. Do not be sold this bill of goods. Oh, Jake, they're playing Brady Cook. Not normal. Frankie, I know Gase is low-hanging fruit, but winning 7 games with a worse roster in 2019 should be respected after watching a Glenn coach team. Again, we hired Dollar Store Saleh to this point. Hodros, watch the Browns play hard. Fire Glenn, no excuses. Nick says, who are some of the coaches that should be available, and who do you want? I think the Browns coach, and I still like McDaniel of Miami. If Kevin Stefanski gets fired, hire him. He's a 2-time coach of the year in Cleveland. All right, let him pick the quarterback. My big thing is I don't care what pick the Jets have. I'd like them to have one, so at least they don't have to give up anything to get their quarterback that we're likely going to ruin and all hate by year 2, and then he'll go somewhere else and 5 years later be the next Sam Darnold. We already know that's going to likely happen, but can we at least try and get it right this time and give that guy a chance before we ruin him? Kills me, man. My brother says, got a text from my uncle, says, calm down. He's worried about you. Wanted me to call in and mention this. Oh, I'm calm right now. I have never been more calm, man. I am calm, cool, and collected. I hate this team, but I love this fan base, and we all just deserve so much better than the crock of you-know-what that we get fed to us every single year. And this year, I said this on the radio this morning, we never had a season this year, right? Remember moral victory week 1? Remember that? I was furious they lost that game because it was preventable. This head coach kept Xavier Gibson on the team. We all knew he didn't belong on the team. Oh, but Jake, they played so well. That was the best we ever saw Justin Fields play. Then there was film on what the offense was with Engstrand, and that was it. And again, I don't think Engstrand's terrible, but I don't know. I don't know anymore. Honestly, if you could get a better OC, do it. Do I think anyone would want to work for Aaron Glenn right now when he's on the hot seat? You would think going into year 2? Like, who's taking the jobs now? Hey, we always have that week 1 moral victory, though, folks. Remember that one? Oh, they played so well. Sean says, I'm totally disgusted. I wish I had it in me to be a fan of another team. Sean, Merry Christmas. Thank you, Ben. You're in the raffle for 4. Ernie, this team has been blown out more than a windsock. They've been blown out in half their games this year, folks. Again, remember they're going to play hard for Glenn. We lauded him for the fact they won some games after the trades. What's changed since? What's changed since? Brady Cook doesn't play defense. What's the excuse? Terry says, Jake, thank you for being real and genuine. Let it out. We're all living through you vicariously. As a long 55-year suffering Jet fan, helps to commiserate with you. I love all you guys, man. I mean, people are like, oh, this is like therapy for me. It's therapy for me too. Because it's just like, it's unacceptable. We don't need to be gaslit into thinking that there's some master plan here. They're laying the foundation. Glenn had no answers. If the media wants to ask him tomorrow, what is one thing you do well as a head coach? I'm curious what he'd say. What is one thing that he could point to that he's done well this year? And the only thing is special teams. Doesn't that tell you all you need to know? And again, Chris Banjo is being successful as a special teams coordinator. Robbie Sabo made this point on the show, and it's a great point. Chris Banjo is taking guys that were cast-offs on other teams, right? The bottom players on the roster, and coaching them up and getting the most out of them, and has been successful doing that. That's coaching. You're seeing it. That is coaching what Banjo's doing with special teams. Not everyone's going to be as good as Chris Banjo, right? You can't expect Engstrand to be, one of the best offensive coordinators in the league immediately. That'd be unfair. But Wilkes, been there, done that. That was the hire. Like, good coaching, when you see it. We're not getting it. We're seeing it on special teams. It's the only thing you could point to. But that's the bottom of the roster players on a bad team. That's an example of coaching. There's no coaching on this team. Giants look like they might kill the Raiders, by the way. So we need the Kansas City Chiefs to mail it in next week. All right, we need Chris Oladokin to throw like 4 or 5 interceptions, Nate Peterman style, because I feel like the Giants, at least as of now, are on their way to winning this game. Oh, my God. Frankie writes in, I know people have been on hold. I promise I'm going to get to the calls here. I'm so disgusted. I need to get this off my chest. When asked what he looks for in a quarterback, he said a winner. His solution, releasing one of the best quarterbacks ever to only bring in a guy with literally the lowest winning percentage of all time. LOL, red flags from the start. Agreed. And again, I understood why they moved on from Rodgers, but the way it was handled, he brings him in, flies him across country just to get rid of him immediately. That was a bad look at the time. It's obviously giving us a real insight into who Aaron Glenn is. There's like macho man, tough guy persona that he was going to be able to like come in and just like walk on water and fix things here. All the shots he took at Salah's coaching staff. It serves Glenn right because he's been fed humble pie of all humble pies. He was dead man walking at that press conference we played. He had no answers. That's a presser you usually get like in year 2 when the guy knows he's about to be fired. Go watch Gase's pressers in 2020. They were all on Zoom because of COVID. That was a Gase presser when he knew he was getting fired. Glenn's at that stage, and he's not getting fired. We could debate if he should, but I don't think Woody's going to do it. I don't think Woody's capable of making the right decision for his organization. Prove me wrong. Barbarossa says, I know a bad coach when I see one. Fire this man, F. Allen. GMC, thanks for entering the raffle. You're in for 1. Danger Zone, what's the point differential now, Jake? 111 to 36 before. Well, I'm bad at math, as everyone who watches this show knows. So, if the Jets entered their last 3 games with a point differential of 111 to 36, and they lost 42 to 10 today, you do the math on what their point differential now is over their last 4 games. Terry in the raffle for 1. Thank you, Terry. Selena, like you said, this isn't normal. Fire Glenn. Joey Matt in the raffle for 2. Thank you, Joey. Adam says, I didn't even mean cement foundation. I meant makeup. Calvin says, stop supporting this garbage. Stadiums need to be empty if Glenn returns as coach. Well, Calvin, if you saw the game today, the stadium was empty. It was only Patriots fans that were there. And like Lou B and like Nate Nate and a couple listeners I donated tickets to who for some reason wanted to go. I mean, it was empty, man. All right, Will Parkinson didn't even go to this game today. That's when you know it's bad. I texted Will at halftime. I go, please tell me you're not at this one. He's like, nope, my wife wouldn't let me. I'm like, thank God. Never leave her. Fire Aaron Glenn checks in. Fire Aaron Glenn. Bill says, at least you're not a Giants fan. I would gladly be a Giants fan. I would have grown up with 2 Super Bowls. But I wouldn't change it at this point. I'm a Jet fan for life. I'm just not going to sit here and blindly defend the organization and act like they're laying the foundation. Imagine saying with a straight face, you're laying the foundation, and then you admit in the next press conference you speak with the team after the next game that, yeah, this is the first game. I got to question the effort of the guys. Dude. NYC, give me a combo of Flores and McCown. Fire AG. I mean, that's what we wanted last year. At least I know I did. I wanted Mike McCarthy. That was the guy. They didn't even interview him. Because he would have said, let's run it back with Rodgers and Devontae, and let's draft a quarterback that sits. But no, the process was flawed from the beginning because you had to hire a coach who didn't want Aaron Rodgers. Don't get me started on the process. JJ says, we didn't let Saleh go, and we missed out on Harbaugh, Dan Quinn, etc. No, they missed out on Vrabel. If they fired Robert Saleh after 2023, Mike Vrabel's coaching the Jets. But no, they kept Saleh, and then Woody already had reservations about Saleh, but let him start 2024 anyway, and then fired him 5 games in. Again, the Lions started 1-6 in year 2 with Campbell. If Aaron Glenn starts 1-6, the Jets going to finish 9-8 like the Lions were. Again, we are now betting on Aaron Glenn to be a historic outlier if he turns out to be a good coach. Jeez, man. At this point, give Banjo a shot. Unreal. Hope Woody is a rare moment of clarity and fires Glenn as soon as the clock hits 0 next week. By the way, I don't care what the point spread is next week. Bet everything on Buffalo. All right? At least I made some money today betting against the Jets. Anyone who thought the Jets were going to cover a 13.5-point line, that line could have literally been as high as you wanted to make it, and New England was covering it. M. Gas says, Jake, how could you hire a running backs coach as your QB coach? If he does not make a change, it says it all. Woody is clueless. I need more people to please be aware of what Aaron Glenn decided to do with his quarterback coach, because it just sheds a light on how incompetent we are as an organization. It sheds light on how inept we are rooting for this team. Because again, we are going to likely draft a quarterback very high. I don't know who it is. We all have our preferences. We're going to fight and argue about all of them. And then whoever the Jets take will rally around that guy till he has his first bad game against the Patriots, throws 4 interceptions. Then we're all going to hate him. And when the cycle will continue. We know that's coming. But for now, let's play along. We ready for this? Here's Charles London's resume, Jet fans. Again, he's our quarterbacks coach. He played college football at Duke. He was a running back. He started his coaching career in 2004 as a grad assistant, then a running backs coach, then an offensive quality control coach, then an offensive assistant. Then he went with Bill O'Brien to Penn State as a running backs coach. Then he traveled with Bill O'Brien to Houston as a running backs coach. Then he went to Chicago from 2018 to 2020 also as a running backs coach. Then he becomes a quarterback coach for Desmond Ridder and the Falcons in 21 and 22. Then he's the Titans QB coach and pass game coordinator. Then he's Seattle's quarterback coach. You know, the Seahawks who couldn't wait to get rid of Geno Smith this past year. Now he's our quarterback coach. So please, someone tell me how Aaron Glenn could come out and say, hey, Justin Fields has never been coached right when he was 4-2 with Mike Tomlin last year. And then the guy that's in the room supposed to be coaching up Justin Fields is this guy with a first-time offensive coordinator who has never called plays for a run-first QB, right? Engstrom was the pass game coordinator for a drop-back, pocket, immobile quarterback in Jared Goff. It never made sense from the beginning. But yes, let's now trust the same people to pick a quarterback and develop them. Great, that will definitely work. The Jets, in their rich history of player development at the quarterback spot, it will not fail. Big country, just like we have said the last 15 years, there's always next year. Oh, yeah, baby. You want to know why? Because us Jet fans, we're dopes.
And Jet fans are clueless. I mean, they're dopes. They don't know anything. This is a really good hire. Gase is a great coach. Gase is a great coach. Okay, Adam Gase is Kyle Shanahan before Kyle Shanahan. Gase is a great coach.
Ah, the best. He's better than Glenn. That's what's scary. Gase, to this point, is a better coach than Aaron Glenn. Coach James says, I am pissed. This team was humiliated 3 weeks in a row. No one has improved. No coaching. No leading. Wake the hell up. We need experienced coaches. Enough with this garbage. Woody, wake the hell up. I am tired, Jake. I get it, James. Believe me. You're tired. Try having to do this 4 hours a day year round. I get it, man. Believe me. JJ says, I went to the Saint game. It was the majority of Saint fans. They have nothing to play for, but their fans still go. I go to the game today. You'd think we were at New England. Embarrassing always being outnumbered. Well, because the ticket prices are enormous still. And by the way, this owner having the balls to raise the prices. If you're a Jet season ticket holder, cancel your tickets. Stop. Stop. When they suck again next year, you can go on StubHub or SeatGeek or wherever and get tickets for half the price of what you're paying for if you still want to go. I don't want to tell people not to go. Buy your tickets on the secondary market. It will be cheaper. You'll save money. Go enjoy your tailgates. But stop buying season tickets when you get nothing as a season ticket holder. You're never going to get face value for a home playoff game, right? That'd be the benefit. If you're a Yankee fan, you're getting playoff games every year. A Knicks fan, you're getting playoff games every year if you're a season ticket holder. That's valuable to get face value for those games that are ultra expensive, 3 times, 4 times more on the secondary market. I get that. The Jets have not won a division since 2002. They won't win it next year. They're in a division with Drake May and Josh Allen. We have no quarterback. We have no head coach. We don't have a prayer. Alex says, Glenn, D coordinator in Detroit, 2021, 31st in scoring. 2022, 28th in scoring. 32nd in yards. 2023, 23rd in scoring. 19th in yards. 2024, 20th in yards. Why was a below average D coordinator elevated to head coach? Well, you know why. Because he was able to con the only guy that was going to give him a head coaching job.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
So if Woody Johnson wants to show real leadership, admit you made a mistake and do something about it, because this fan base deserves better than Aaron Glenn for another year. Sorry. We don't need to lie to ourselves, Jet fans. We don't. This will not get better next year. We'll pretend to be all excited. They'll make free agent signings, spend money. They'll draft Mendoza or more, whoever. And we are wasting another year of this. Tell me I'm wrong. And the problem the Jets run into is whether they have pick 1 or pick 2, right? The problem they run into is if they get off to a bad start next year and they're starting a bridge quarterback, is Aaron Glenn going to feel the heat to play that rookie before he's ready to play? Right? Like we're setting up the quarterback to not have a shot. And it's a shame. JJ in the raffle for 1. JJ Raw, thank you. Please do something in the raffle for 5. If you're going to fire AG, it needs to be done this offseason. With all these picks, this job may be of interest for decent coaches since the roster can be remade as they'd like, including getting their choice of QB. You're preaching to the choir. If you're going to do it now, not when they're 1-6. And then Woody's like, well, I'm impatient again. Time to make a move.
You clown sucking douchebag.
Enough. To your calls we go. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of you want in. Appreciate everyone who's holding. Let's say hello to Burkinator, who's first. Hello, Burkinator.
All you can do is laugh, Jake, at this point. All you can do is laugh, man. I mean, I'm filming somebody right now actually as we speak. This is the worst of the worst, man. I mean, I was with you, man. Like when this was going bad, I said there's no way they could fire Glenn, but of course the Jets always hit a new bottom, right? Like he's actually making a case where I think he deserves to get fired. Like I didn't think this was even possible. It's really that bad. I mean, what really concerns me at this point is what you said earlier. His specialty is supposed to be defense. Let's forget the offense. We have no quarterback. We're lacking talent at receiver until those guys came on this year, but they're not number 1s, number 2s. And this defense is like historically bad. I mean, it's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like this in my life, man. I really haven't. And even firing Wilkes, you think he'd get more hands-on and maybe they would improve at all, or a little bit. It's actually worse than when he's left. Like I don't know, man. It's all you can do is laugh at this point.
Burginator, it's brutal, man. Great call. Honestly, it's laughable that there's people still trying to defend this as normal, or just they're tanking, Jake. This is not that, man. Again, the head coach was dead coach walking up there today. He had no answers. He didn't expect his team to quit on him today. He couldn't believe it. Aaron Glenn, Mr. Macho Man, we're built for this shit, baby. Yeah. Hey, Brian Costello, I'm giving you a wedgie. Yeah. Like that was Glenn when he first came in. Now he's a dead coach walking. That's what he sounds like. I mean, come on, man. Don't let go of the rope, though,
Just don't let go of the rope.
Joke. More of your calls right now. I know what we need. Maybe some hilarity or maybe 13 points. It's time.
Get ready for Neil. He will make 13 points about the New York Jets and maybe hump a Patriots jersey. Get ready for Neil. He's probably smoking a big fat cigar and burning his house to the ground. That's Neil.
Wow. All I have to say is wow. Jake, I'm going to turn the clock back 30 years. I was 34 years old. I think I was still older than you are now, right? You're not 34, right? You're even 30 yet?
Yeah, I'm 30. You would be correct, Neil.
Okay, so right before you were born, I had to watch a season, endure a season with the worst coach in history. His name was Rich Kotite. Rich Kotite had 16 games as a Jet coach, was the worst humility I ever had to endure as a Jet fan. We were laughing stocks. I couldn't even walk around with my Jet gear on. I got insulted by everybody I know, and I was really feeling worse by 10 times than what you feel right now. However, with that being said, we did set a record today. Nobody talked about it. And that 1-15 season, we scored 279 points. We gave up 454. In 16 games, that's a 175-point differential. This year, we have 292 points. We've given up 468. That's a 176-point differential. We beat the differential by a point with the worst coach and season I have had to endure in my 56 goddamn years watching this team. So if this does not tip the scale to get rid of this miserable and get clean house, then there is no possibility of us ever winning, because Woody Johnson cannot, in his mind of minds, hang on to this guy another single season. That's it. He did it. He absolutely set a record for beating the worst franchise point differential in history. And you know how hard that is to do as a Jet? It's almost impossible. I never thought I would see a worse season, and I watched every game. And I'm telling you, this is worse. This is so much worse, because not only is it that big point differential, it's that we have to do another game. What is the score prediction next week? Oh, my God. I can't even believe it. I have my wife watching the game. She goes, I'll put the Jets back on. I want to laugh some more. She just sits in the chair and laughs. It's like unbelievable.
I mean,
get upset.
Negative 176 point differential is a colossal.
It's going to be over 200, Jake, after next week.
Probably. Yeah. What's changing next week? They already
can it not be?
Of course. I mean, again, I will say this. I still don't think Woody has the balls to fire him after a year. He absolutely should. He'd have every right to do it. I think his fan base would understand it. It's been that bad.
Understand it.
But this is the first time where, like, I got to be like, you know what? Like, maybe he actually would. I still don't think he will, but maybe he would, because what we're watching and seeing that stadium full of only Patriots fans outside of maybe like 10 Jet fans who were there today. And God bless the ones who were. I'll never fan shame like some do. Oh, why are you going? If you want to go to the game, great, go to the game. But anyone who doesn't, you have all the right in the world. You shouldn't. I get it. But like seeing that stadium, seeing a team that the Jets were better than a year ago. They won 4 games in New England. They fired their coach. They already had Drake May. They had him last year and got him better coaching and made some improvements in the margins on the roster. And Woody, if he's sitting there watching that, not having second thoughts about Aaron Glenn, He's a fool if he doesn't. He's an absolute fool.
Jake, they were giggling at us on the sidelines. It was like a joke.
They were clowning the Jets, and this happened all year.
It wasn't even look. He was going to turn it down until we got that rough in the passer, and then Vrabel said, "Frig him. Let's just put another 10 on him before halftime." Yeah. And they did it at will. At will.
Neil, how about the fact that in this game, you had Mike Vrabel up 35-3, call a timeout to force the Jets to run another play in the first half instead of going into the locker room? I mean, it's one thing to be tanking, right? But when the entire division is destroying you, when you're 0-5 against the AFC East, about to be 0-6 after Buffalo has their lunch next week, like that is bigger than just tanking. Remember Elijah Moore punked the Jets with scoring a touchdown in week 2? This has been going on all year. Last week, Taysom Hill is throwing a bomb at the end of the game. The Jets are every team's homecoming opponent. They just, it's embarrassing, man. And Aaron Glenn was supposed to change that. If he's not going to be a strategist on either side of the ball, he was supposed to get the Jets to play with a mentality that it's unacceptable to get punked by these teams. And they allow it to happen every week.
Is Woody Johnson come to these games? Is he there today, you think?
My God, I hope he was.
I tell you what, he better be in Buffalo next week because they're going to close their stadium with the biggest onslaught that they ever had. They're going to have a party at our expense, these son of a bitchin' Buffalo fans. I can't stand them. They're going to jump up and down. But let's just make one more thing clear. If anybody believes that this team is going to take any rookie, I don't care if it's Joe Burrow, Joe Namath, Joe anybody, and turn him into a good quarterback and turn this franchise around, they're dreaming because this coaching staff took Justin Fields and tried to turn him into a pocket passer, which was a colossal failure. Then they took Adrian. Listen, I don't give a shit what anybody says. Tim Boyle is better than Brady Cook. Would you argue that, Jake?
Neil, I just none of these quarterbacks have a shot with this coaching. None of them.
No way. And then
because as bad as Fields was never this bad at the end of his time in Chicago. And last year he was at least competent enough to go 4-2 with Tomlin. It's not about the quarterback. It is all about the coach. So you could tell me they get Mendoza, Moore, whoever. If Aaron Glenn remains the head coach, the chances that quarterback actually succeeds, I think, is very little. I have no faith.
I think I'm telling you, Jake, I've been against Glenn since I just don't like he's getting worse and worse in my mind. And I'm actually glad at the result today. And I will be even more glad if we score 0 and lose 48-0 next week, because it's the only chance we have to get rid of this guy and start over again, because there's no way we're going to take 5 wasted draft picks. And Woody, I'll tell you what, Woody has to think this one thing, and I'll let it go here. Woody has to think after last year's debacle on getting rid of Saleh after being 2-3. Okay, he can't make that same, go through that same thing again. I think that gave him PTSD, and he's going to cut bait with Glenn. He's got to cut bait with Glenn. There's no way you go another season with this catastrophe. There's just no way. There's nothing that's improved here. Not a single goddamn thing. Period. Like you said, you've been saying it right along. Name one thing on this chat that this guy has done better. I'll tell you one thing. He calls those timeouts so timely at the end of the half. He gave so many timeouts at the end of the half, he allowed Patriots to score again. I can't believe he's worried about calling timeouts at the half. This is his only thing he tries to do. I think he sits there during the game and thinks about when he's going to call timeouts instead of managing and CEO in this team. That's how bad he is. Hey, everybody,
don't
Happy
let go
New
of the
Year.
rope, Neil.
I love you guys. Happy New Year, everybody. That's it. We got to think of something else. I think I'm going to go to church on Sundays at 1 starting next year. If this guy's still a coach. I am not a church goer. I am going to church on Sundays at 1 o'clock, and I'm going to leave my phone in the car so I missed the first half.
These goddamn exploding cigars. Like, gotta go, Jake. I'll call back later. Shit.
I love it, Neil. I just seeing that stadium today and then thinking back to what it was like September 11th, 2023, when Rodgers made his debut. Just so depressing, man. That was the greatest environment for any sporting event I've ever been in. And I've been to the World Series. I've been to every Knicks playoff game the last 2 years at the Garden. When I lived in Houston, I covered the World Series there. I've been to an Olympics as an intern with NBC in Rio in 2016. Like, I've been to some cool sporting events. I went to the Patriots Rams Super Bowl in Atlanta. I've been to some great events in my broadcasting career. That night was the best environment ever. And to see what this fan base can be when we actually had belief and hope to where we are now, it's really been all downhill since that night Rodgers came out with the flag. And we got some short-lived optimism when they were 2-1 last year. And they beat the shit out of the Pats on Thursday Night Football. Remember that? Now look what happened a year later. New England has flipped it. They're 13-3. A year later, after the Jets kicked their ass in a primetime game, here are the Jets down 42-3 after 3 quarters, 35-3 at halftime. And people think it's all going to be hunky-dory with Aaron Glenn. It's all going to work out. Okay. Yeah. I'll play along. Dan writes, and I feel bad for Glenn. That's the problem. I feel bad because he was a great Jet, but he's in way over his head and should be fired. Again, no one can dispute Glenn as a person. I think he's a good human being, a good man, family guy, father, all that. Evaluate him. It's not personal. Evaluate him as a head coach. Has he done a good job? Can you point to one thing that is a superior strength of his that gives you confidence he's the guy? Does he fit where the game is going as far as what coaches are being successful in the league today? I mean, you have the answer. Again, it's not going to work. We can pretend like it will. I'll go along with it. I'll root for it to work. But I'm not going to sit here and be surprised when they win 5 games next year. You shouldn't be. It is not just a roster problem, is my point. It's not. They sucked with Sauce and Quinnen. They sucked with those guys, too. Everyone talks about the trades like they tore the whole thing down. Oh. The one game they won, they didn't even have Garrett or Sauce, by the way. Quinnen played in that game. Then they made the trades. Please. Bang Mateo. Did the young lady make the field goal for 100K? No, she missed it, so we didn't even have that to root for. Glad she got the kick, though. At least the Jets did the right thing letting her kick. It never should have came down to that in the first place. Coach James writes in, Jake, over 55 years as a Jet fan, I can't go over the disappointment of the Jets, but Aaron Glenn has taken this to the worst level. I am truly worried. Glenn has to go or we could destroy the picks. Yeah, I mean, look, Muji could stay. Let him work with whoever the next head coach is. That's what I would do, but I'm not the owner. I'm not. More of your calls right now. Appreciate all of you. A reminder, Chad Pennington signed helmet is the raffle prize. We got 5 gifted memberships so far. Gift a membership to enter or send in a $10 super chat or higher to qualify. $10 is 2 entries. 20 is 5, so on and so forth. 50, 10, 100 is 20. We'll raffle that away. And then this week on the show, we have a signed Klecko jersey, Revis jersey, and Dom Maynard football as our 3 prizes. We'll probably do the raffle this upcoming Friday. We got the holiday with New Year's and things, so we're pushing the raffles back. We move things around. Super chat from Mike, who says, he's not the guy, but let's continue to lie to ourselves. Jake, I can't continue to watch this show. I don't want my girlfriend dreaming of you. That's a reference to our guy, Sean, who calls in. Well done, Mike. Mike, your Chad Pennington football should be arriving soon, by the way. Was able to get it sent out to you on Friday. Matt L. is in the Asmaniac raffle. He is in for 5. Thank you, Matt.
We are mama way.
All right, let's get some more calls, shall we? A lot of you still on the line. I appreciate all of you for holding. Chef Kevin is next. Hey, Chef.
Jake, what's up, man? How you doing, man?
Uh-oh. Were you dressed? You're dressed like you were at the game today. Were you there?
Yo, I dragged my pops. I brought my son there. Luckily, we were in a suite, man.
Okay.
Because I deal with a Cisco food distributor, they have a suite there. It was on the Pat sideline. So, at least we were able to be warm. It's one of those suites where it's like, it has a door, so it's like half indoors, half outdoors. So, at least we had that where we weren't freezing. The sad thing about all this, man, was just the fact that the sideline, man. I don't know what the television was showing you guys, but on the sideline in the third quarter, everybody, all the players were sitting down on the bench, man. Yo, I coached 9U last year. We teach, you don't sit down. You stand up on the sideline. You cheer everybody on. when you don't know when you're going to be able to get in, you have to be ready. You have to play ready. Yo, everybody was sitting down. It was empty. Nobody was standing up. It's pathetic, man. And knowing that AG is not a D coordinator for the team, doesn't do offense, special teams. He said he's a coach, but he doesn't do any coaching. I don't understand why you're not even telling the players that are sitting down who got paid today. Yo, all these players, they all got paid today.
They
And
should
they're all
give their
sitting
game
down.
checks to someone like you and your family and any Jet fan who actually was still there rooting for this crap today in person. Disgrace.
Yo, it's unbelievable. I used to be a season ticket holder. This is the first year I'm not a season ticket holder. And yo, rather than losing five, like, you know, it was $5,000 for 8 games, you know, a couple of, you know, preseason, whatever. Yo, I actually made money this year. I did some tailgates. Like, some people had some extra tickets where they gave it to me. Yo, I'm up. Yo, I'm happy. But then it's like, yo, I have to go watch this? Dude, like, you say this stuff, man. Like, yo, it was what, 21-0? We kick a field goal to make a 3-score game a 3-score game.
Yeah, brilliant strategy.
Dude, are you trying to win? All right, we go for it on 4th and 1. We get it. All right, the whole bill knows we're gonna do, you know, we're gonna fake the punt. And then you go for it on 4th and 6 and you decide to do that? Yo, it's disgraceful, man. The product on the field, I've been saying this for months, man. They all gave up. No one's playing hard. You tell me who's playing hard on this team.
No one.
Yo, when Simpson went down, yo, I'm like, yo, that's it. That's it.
Maybe Membu. Membu showed some fire at the end of the first half, which I like seeing. But like, it's just.
Yeah, but then nobody had his back.
No, there's not. It's just, again, the head coach admitted today that they quit on him. He said that. It's so many words. He said that in his post-game presser. He sounded like Gase at the end of 2020. Maybe we don't need to delay the inevitable. Gase never should have been hired, right? And we had to go through 2 years of it. Maybe Woody can learn from that mistake and realize Aaron Glenn's a nice guy. He was a great Jet. So was Gerard Mayo for the Patriots, but they recognized they needed to make a change. We cannot pretend like this is going to magically be better a year from now. I see no way it magically gets better unless the quarterback they take is Stroud or is Jaden Daniels immediately as a rookie from day one and just puts a masquerade on the coaching staff. Like we can mask it. What are the odds that we're really going to bank on that? Like, again, I gave the stat earlier. If Aaron Glenn ends up being a good head coach, he would be a historic outlier in football history. What are we doing here? We don't need to pretend.
It doesn't. Yo, I'm starting to hate him. I'm really starting to hate him.
This is the problem when he came in and said, if he set the expectations normally and they just showed you something, I don't think we'd all be this critical. But they are so delusional with their expectations and took a team that had talent and coached it down and then said, well, you know, we saw the team and then realized, oh, we got to pivot. No, you made the trades at the deadline because you started 0-7. You were the last team in the league to get a win for a reason. The Jets, and Neil said it, I verified it. The Jets have the worst point differential now in franchise history.
Disgusting.
Think about that. Through 16 games. And who knows how bad it will be now with the 17th game next week.
Dude, I called in a couple weeks ago. You had Dylan Terraman on. I was like, when they bench Fields, I'm like, all right, I'm bought in just a smidge. I'm bought in just a little bit, knowing like, all right, Fields ain't doing this thing. Yeah, bench his ass. Yo, that was it. Now I've been bought the F back out. What is he doing, man? He's giving us stories, which he stopped about Campbell giving him a chance and with the Lions, how he started off bad and all that. Yeah,
we're running the Wilkes system. Well, I don't know, Aaron. Maybe now that Wilkes is gone, we can evaluate you as a DC because you said, oh, you're going to help. What's his name? Chris Harris. Well, they had a negative 52-point differential in Wilkes' final 2 games. First 2 games without Wilkes, it's a negative 55-point differential. They've gotten worse.
Jake, he's a con artist. This is the bottom line. He's a con artist saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna give Wilkes time. I'm gonna give Wilkes time. Campbell gave me time." And he fired his ass. What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? You're a con artist. You lying to all of us. Hold the rope. What the hell are you talking about? Yo, this is BS, man. There's no fight on the field. Nothing. Special teams. They kicked the ball. They kicked the ball off to us a million times today because the Patriots scored. I don't know how many times. We couldn't get nothing. Yeah. The ball went into the end zone, probably about a yard or 2 in there. They had to kneel down. All right, I get that. Dude, we couldn't do anything. Punting, kicking. Okay, that's it. Tackling. We're still talking about tackling. Why doesn't anybody know how to grab the legs?
Kevin, how about the taunting penalty today when they're down 25? Whichever Clark, I think it was Clark that did that.
They had 2 penalties on that play.
Oh yeah, you got what was the other penalty? It was a hold or something.
Something.
Oh, you're right. Yep, you're right. Roughing the passer.
Yo, it's ridiculous. What are they doing? Discipline. Penalties will clean this up. Coaching. Who's coaching? Who? What are we doing? Everyone's getting worse. This is awful. How does anybody, any season ticket holders, want to do this again? Do it some more. For what? I've been to 5 games this year. I'm losing my mind. Yo, this is crazy. We're still going to see this stuff? My son is telling everybody in the suite, I hate this team. He didn't even see that meme with that kid. He's not on social media. My kid's telling me, I hate this team. Yo, it's ridiculous. I can't even do this.
And you know what drove me crazy too? Mr. Accountability. Jordan Clark. I wanted to make sure I got because there's Dean Clark and Jordan Clark. I didn't want to, rip the wrong Clark here. Jordan Clark, who committed the taunting penalty after the Jets, made a big stop, even though they got the roughing call and they were down 25 points at the time of said penalty. Glenn left him in the game. He didn't even pull him. He's like, give it up too. Again, Woody Johnson, please, for the love of God, recognize a mistake before we have to go through another year. Oh, but Jake, he doesn't want to pay a coach to not work for him. Great. So he's going to pay, instead of having to pay 4 years of Aaron Glenn's salary, he's only going to have to pay 3 if he waits another year. Like, come on, man.
It was all Patriot fans there. I barely saw any green. I don't even know if Fireman Ed was there. They didn't show him, Jet Man. They didn't show nobody. Nothing. No Jet chants going on. When the Patriots scored, it was crazy. When the Jets, when Brees scored, it was nothing. Booze. They was booing. It was like we was in Foxborough. Yo, it was disgusting. I can't. How do we're supposed to believe this stuff? This nonsense. And now he's like, oh, what did you say? They gave up. I'm paraphrasing. I didn't see what Glenn was talking about. No fight in them. That's your job, dude. You're standing there. You're doing nothing. How are you coaching? How are you putting them in position? And then this week we're going to hear, we're looking forward to the opportunity to play in the Bills. No, the hell you not. What are you talking about? Looking forward to this. You're looking forward to end the damn season. That's it. All you guys got paid. We got 1 game left. I'm over this, man. Lose by 50. I don't care. Nobody's showing me anything. No fight. Yes, the Membu. Okay, I get that. The rest of the team, no one has back. No one came over to help him out. I'm standing there watching it. I'm on the Patriots side. I'm watching. It's just Membu, and then all the Patriots. Rabel ran out there. Where was Glenn? Was he dancing again? Did he sprinting to the sideline, sprinting to the back? What the hell was he doing? Yo, it's sickening. What is he doing? What's he getting paid to do? What's Glenn getting paid to do? Enough, man. At least we got the Knicks, man.
Thank God. Chef Kev, love the rant, man. Love the passion. This is for you.
Hey, go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go!
It's a disgrace, man. And again, Chef Kevin's a former season ticket holder. The best thing he did this year was not renew his season tickets. Can't say the same for this guy. It's our guy, Lou B, who's next. Hello, Lou.
Jake, can you hear me?
I hear you, Lou.
Hey, can you hear me, Jake?
I got you, Lou.
Sorry, I can't hear you. I'll call back.
All right, we'll get you right on, Lou. I want to hear about your experience in a sea of Pats fans. Henry says we want Woody to Woody now, huh? He's stubborn, though. Look, contrary to popular belief, Woody Johnson is usually pretty patient with his coaches. He is. Robert Saleh was in his 4th year before he fired him. It was a dumb move. He was impatient in season last year. Saleh had 3 straight losing years. He got a 4th year. Gase got a 2nd year. That was his brother, but still. Right? Bowles was here for 4 years. Joe Douglas was in year 6. Mangini got 3 years. Herm was here until he basically was going into the Chiefs, and he was going to get fired anyway, right? 01 to 05. Again, Al Groh was here for a year. He left to be the Virginia coach. That was Woody's first year as an owner in 2000. Woody's been pretty patient with coaches. Rex was here for 6. He needs to act. He needs to act. Save us the time. We're not winning with Aaron Glenn. We're not. When the Jets eventually turn it around, if God willing, we're all here to see it, it will not be with this head coach. We can pretend otherwise, and if I'm wrong, I will own it and say, Aaron Glenn, you proved me wrong. I will own it. And I will be happy for the man because it's not personal, but we got to call it how it is. This is not getting better with him. We don't need to pretend. We don't need to pretend like, oh, they get a quarterback, Jake. Now it's going to be better. Great. How did Gerard Mayo do with Drake May last year? They were worse than the Jets. Maysby says, happy Kwanzaa, Jake. You were a believer in Malik Willis. Jet Central has a video talking about him and likes him. If the Jets signed Malik Willis and still drafted a quarterback, okay, that's a plan. And let Willis compete with the rookie or Willis, Tyrod Taylor as the mentor or someone like that, right? The Josh McCown role for Darnold. Someone like that, the Joe Flacco role for Zach. You know, hell, maybe it's Phillip Rivers. He looks like he still could play. Like someone like that whose job is to coach up the quarterback in that room. And someone like Willis, okay. But just saying, oh, we're going to sign Malik Willis, and then that's our plan at quarterback. Now we don't need to draft Mendoza or Moore or Simpson. No. So it depends how that is set up here. God, the Raiders really suck, huh? I know. I mean, they've mastered the tanky thing pretty good here. We're going to need them to win next week, but still. Eric says, Glenn should save us some time and quit like Lou Holtz. Resign on a napkin. Please, for the love of God. More calls. Frank is next. Hey, Frank.
Oh, my God. God. Oh, I have a few points to make, Jake. So, do you remember when Brandon Staley was the head coach of the LA Chargers? And remember when they gave up 55 to the Raiders in the post-game press conference? Aaron Glenn looked like that today. Aaron Glenn looked like Joe Judge against the Bears, I believe, when they ran a quarterback sneak in their own end zone on 3rd and 9 instead of handing it to Saquon Barkley. The ultimate sign that a coach should be fired is when your players quit on you. You're at your home stadium. And granted, there weren't many fans. I was watching it. My poor wife said, oh, let the dog sit with you. I wouldn't put my dog on the couch to watch this embarrassment. It's a goddamn disgrace what we're seeing. A disgrace. Every single Jets fan should write a letter and send it to One Jets Drive, should send it to Florham Park, imploring Woody Johnson to fire Aaron Glenn. This is a disgrace what Jets fans have been subjected to. And we've seen bad years. At this point, Adam Gase should be in the Jets Ring of Honor because he got to 7 wins, something Aaron Glenn's not going to do in 2 years. This franchise, Woody Johnson as an owner, and you can argue Gerard Mayo was a better Patriot than Aaron Glenn was as a Jet. He fired Gerard Mayo because Robert Kraft fired Gerard Mayo because it was the right thing to do. Woody Johnson should fire Aaron Glenn tomorrow. Because it doesn't matter who coaches this team next week. This team's not beating Buffalo. You could get Rex Ryan. You could get Vince Lombardi. You could get whoever the hell you want. This team would not beat Buffalo next week. Buffalo could rest all their starters. They're not beating this team next week. The New York Jets. And if I was Darren Muji, I would walk in tomorrow to Woody Johnson's office and I'd say, look, it's either me or Glenn. He's got to go or I got to go. You cannot let Aaron Glenn. You cannot let Aaron Glenn
do that. He's
I know he won't. I know he won't do it.
He's not going to walk away from whatever his contract is and the guaranteed money he has. But if Woody Johnson were smart, he would recognize, hey, my GM might actually be pretty competent. Might actually have a feel for how to do the job. Maybe we adjust on the fly, just like they adjusted once upon a time when Gase led us to Douglas, and then Douglas was able to fire Gase and then pick the next coach. Maybe Muji has earned the opportunity to at least be a part of the front office with a different head coach, right?
And
we could have
Mike
that conversation.
Mike McCarthy would have been a great head coach. The video clip that you played of his press conference before where he goes, we have to get over that hump. Humps are humps for most teams. The humps for Jets are Mount Everest and Aaron Glenn. He can't figure his way out of a wet paper bag. Mike McCarthy should have been interviewed this year. The New York Jets should have interviewed Mike McCarthy and hired Mike McCarthy and drafted Jackson Dart. Even if you traded down and accumulated more picks and took Jackson Dart, you would have at least had some semblance of a foundation. And everybody likes to say, well, Mike McCarthy, he wore out his welcome in Dallas. Okay, but they won games in Dallas. He didn't win the big ones. He got eliminated in the playoffs and usually were embarrassing losses in the playoffs because the Cowboys had expectations. But he won games. Almost every year he was there, he won 12 games with the Dallas Cowboys. You tell me, and I saw this just this week on Reddit, where somebody goes, I can't wait until the Jets are competitive against New England and Buffalo just so Jake Asman will finally shut up. To anybody who defends Aaron Glenn, explain in this chat what he does well. Explain one thing, except for dancing on the sideline, because that's what he does well. That's what he does well, dancing.
Yeah, Frank, look, he's not a good coach. He's terrible. Like, honestly, if you're starting a team right now and you can have any coach in the league, you're doing a draft of active head coaches. Aaron Glenn's maybe the 32nd coach that's drafted. Seriously. I mean, Pete Carroll's probably getting fired. We won't count him. I mean, Tennessee's already open. Giants is already open. So it wouldn't be 32. It'd be like, what, there's 30 coaches right now? I mean, Aaron Glenn would be 29th or 30th, if we're being kind. Again, I don't enjoy saying this, but I feel like it needs to be said because there are people out there trying to act like this is normal, what we're watching. That it's normal for a team to have a negative 176 point differential through 16 games. That is normal for a team to be blown out 4 consecutive weeks by 20 or more points. Today, they got blown out 42-10. That's not even an accurate depiction of how bad this game could have been if New England wanted to make it that bad. You had Mike Vrabel saying F you to the Jets on the sideline today when he called a timeout to make the Jets run another play when his team was up 35-3 at the half. Then you got Drake May cackling in the background as Mike Vrabel's caught on a hot mic saying, fuck you to the Jets. That's what happened. I just saw the clip as Frank was talking there. That's making the rounds on Twitter right now. That's the organization you have, Woody. And this head coach who is a Jet, and he's supposed to know what it means to be a Jet and change all that. He's in over his head. He's a good guy. I'm sure he's a good assistant coach. He's not a head coach. We need to stop and acting like it's going to magically be better next year if they add a quarterback to this. Their issues are so much more than just the quarterback. And if you can't see that, I can't help you. Big fella. Jets have become a coach's farm system for the NFL. Only hire rookie coaches. They make mistakes, suck, gain experience, then be successful with their new teams. Awful. Hendon Hooker next week. He probably will start next week. All right, Tyrod Taylor had a personal issue, and he wasn't with the team today. So I hope everything's okay with Tyrod. But Hendon Hooker was already the backup. I bet you next week it's Hooker and then Cook as the backup. So why not? It wouldn't be a Jet season without 4 different quarterbacks having to start games. Wouldn't be a Jet season without that, huh? Just unreal. Unreal ineptitude by this franchise. And it's a franchise that always finds a way to seemingly keep lowering the bar. But it never ends. More of your calls before we wrap. We do have a raffle for a signed Pennington helmet up for grabs coming up. And then I got to get ready because I'm on TV tonight after Sunday Night Football. Looks like the Giants are going to win. So, look, Giants winning means the Raiders will have the number 1 pick. Giants will stay at 2, I believe, even after losing today. So, this is going to come down to the last week of the regular season. There's still a lot of things that got to be figured out. Ladies and gentlemen, more calls.
Gator, where is my intro? I need a cool intro. I've been calling in, supporting Jake for over 4 years. You did intros for Papa Jet, and Adam is too cool. I'm worthy of an intro, Gator. I don't understand why I don't have an intro. You suck, Gator. You really suck.
Hey, Jake.
Hey, Rob.
Jake, I mean, Neil said it with his other call. I mean, like, we're going to be going on a 200-point differential after the game against Buffalo. Let's be honest. I mean, they're
going to get destroyed next week. I don't care what the line is. Take the Bills.
Yeah, they're going to get destroyed. You know it, and I know it. The only chance that we really have is that this stupid fucking buffoon of a coach has a conscience, like you said, and writes on a napkin, I resign. That's the only shot that we have, that this guy has a bit of a conscience. Because let's be honest, Jake, the time when you had that guy come on to your show and he did podcasts for the Detroit Lions, and he said, you have no clue on how bad this guy is as a coach. Forget about him being a head coach, but him being a defensive coordinator for the Lions. He told you right there that we made a huge mistake. Yeah.
I mean, the numbers are the numbers. His defenses in Detroit were not good. So we don't need to pretend like he's a defensive genius. The reason why he hired someone to probably coordinate his defense he never worked with is because he knew he couldn't do it himself. Exactly. And he picked the wrong guy. So now he's going to hire Jim Schwartz, or Jim Leonard's going to leave Denver to come and work for him. Like, again, we could try and convince ourselves these things will happen. Until I see results, I'm not buying it. Like, Aaron Glenn's got to win us back over, not us blindly defend him when he's given us nothing to hold on to. Not a thing.
Exactly. Look at the numbers. The numbers are right there, Jake. Numbers don't lie. He's never been a fucking good defensive coordinator. Look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie, guys. But yet we hired this butthole as our coach. Tannenbaum put his 2 cents in with that 30 third crap of his, and also convinced Woody, and Woody liked him also because of him when he was a good player. But it doesn't mean because you're a good player means you're going to be a good head coach, Jake. You know that it doesn't roll that way. That means shit. Phil Jackson was the crappiest player, and he was the best NBA coach. He had 9-10 titles. That has nothing to do with it. This guy does not know what he's doing, because the answer to your question, Jake, is he does nothing well. Nothing well. Other than one hire to Banjo. Other than that, he does nothing well. That's the answer to the question, Jake. And you know what? I'm really scared if we have to go another year with this guy, even if we get Mendoza, or if we don't get Mendoza because this shitty Raider team here can't beat the Giants. Even if that doesn't materialize and we get Dante Moore, who's going to be even more green, and he's going to have to wait longer to start. I mean, do you have confidence that this guy can coach up these players and make them better next year? Because I don't. The defense is worse. The offense is worse. I don't believe in. And, you know, I've never believed in this guy since day one. I had a lot of reprehensive on this guy, and I didn't believe in him. And you know what? After seeing today, I mean, they resemble, forget about a college team. The Jets resembled a high school team today. They look like a high school team because I got news for you. I think there's some college teams I think that could have beaten the Jets today. I mean, I would take Ohio State. They probably would have beat the Jets. Dude,
if the Jets played Ohio State right now, Ohio State would be resting their starters in the third quarter. That's how bad the Jets are right now. A joke. Right. It's embarrassing, man. It's just, you can't even kid around with it. It's just so disgusting.
And it's not to knock the guys that you call in the talk, but Will Parr was kind of like laughing last week, and he a little bit, I'm going to the game. Yeah, you see a little bit of positivity. Will, there's no positivity on this team. Don't bother. Don't go to the game. These people who go to the game are foolish because we got to make a stand. We got to make a stand, Jake, that Aaron Glenn, say it with me, Jake, resign, Aaron Glenn, resign. He needs to resign. I don't want to see this clown back next year, Jake. I'm really scared. Even if we get the players that we want, I don't believe in this guy to coach them up. I don't.
Rob, I agree with you. But can I give you some good news, though?
Please, buddy.
At least you have an intro.
Gator, I don't understand why I don't have an intro. Gator, I need an intro, buddy. A cool intro, please. I've been calling in, supporting Jake for over 4 years. You got Adam is too cool, Papa 73, and I don't understand why you won't create one. Women.
You have no sense of humor. That's the problem.
I don't.
When you have a sense of humor, then you can have an intro.
I'm worthy of an intro.
All right, fine.
I don't understand why I don't have an intro.
You have an intro, at least. Joe says, we're screwed. Dante Moore not coming out. We're handcuffed to this trash head coach. Kill me. This will never end. I hate Woody. I think Dante Moore is coming out, but I don't think Dante Moore will be successful with Aaron Glenn as his head coach. And I'd love to be wrong. I know things I don't want to be wrong. Doesn't know a damn thing about me and my love of the Jets. I'm just not going to pretend like this is all okay. This is normal, what we're watching. It's not. It's not. And it's really funny to me because, like, there's a chance either Harbaugh or Tomlin maybe are available, the loser of the AFC North. And the Jets won't hire any of them. Just like they didn't hire Mike Vrabel when they could have in 2023. Not last year. 2023, they could have had him. You know. It just never ends. Chris in the raffle for 2. Pipe dream of maybe watching this disaster from afar will create the perfect storm for Rex to get motivated and get in Woody's ear and save us. I love Rex. Rex is not the answer. He's not coached in the NFL in a decade. They need someone proven. Or if you're going to do the first time thing, it has to be an offensive guy. So at least that guy can work with the quarterback. Aaron Glenn doesn't do anything. He shows up. And then what happens after his hug from Woody? He's a defensive guy. He's not even good at coordinating defense. It's maddening, man. Speaking of maddening, Mad Max.
It's Mad Max ain't yapping about Jets. Oh. That boy, he's jamming. Yo. He's standing, freaking dancing, wall smashing. I'm Jake Asman. If Mad Max ain't ever stopped yapping, that boy, he still be dancing.
Honestly, Jake, can you guys hear me?
Absolutely not.
Oh, man, the Jets are horrible today. Aaron Glenn says we're not the same old Jets. He's right. Joke. Absolute joke. This franchise continues to sink to new lows. Just when you think it can't get any worse. Jets are late. Hold my beer. It was actually embarrassing today. 35 to 3.5. I turned off the game. It was like, this is embarrassing. I'm not watching this game. You know what? The Jets need to fire Aaron Glenn, honestly. He is a horrible head coach. You know, he's just terrible, Jake. Like, and you know, I was on Matt Leary's show saying the Jets are firing Gase, and like on comments like, "Oh, I don't know football because I want the Jets fired." And he was like, "Tell me in the chat, what does Aaron Glenn do well? Oh, maybe he had Banjo, but honestly, any head coach can have Chris Banjo as a special team coordinator. Like how many times has Mike Westop been held as the special team coordinator? He's survived through 4 coaches. Even Brent Boyer went through 4 coaches. Honestly, like what does he do? Like the defense is terrible. Like our defense today was an absolute shit show, Jake. It was an absolute shit show. 35 points allowed in the first half. Sherwood is was the worst Mike linebacker I've ever seen in the National Football League. He's terrible. Did you see that Hunter Henry touchdown? He was terrible. And you know what else is enough, Jake? We still have 0 interceptions throughout the entire season. That's total levels of ineptitude from this defense. How do you have 0 interceptions through 16 games? It's embarrassing. Even Beast will have interception. Is Beast on the line?
Oh, you want Beast, Mad Max?
Yes, I will.
Ask nicely.
Can we please have Beast on the line?
Right now, we're getting some gabagool. If you really want some gabagool, you gotta come get the gabagool. Catch you later.
Is it crazy that we don't have an interception this season? Like, how crazy is that? Honestly, if you were on the Jets, Beast, you would get an interception, honestly.
At age 41, maybe, but we'll see. But right now, I couldn't watch what I saw today. I thought this was an embarrassment beyond the shadow of the doubt. I thought the apocalypse just came down from the heavens and just swallowed us up like shit through straw. I could have been watching The Rifleman. You might not. You're young. You don't remember seeing The Rifleman, did you?
No, I never saw it.
Chuck Connors. Look him up. If you ever get time, look up Chuck Connors, The Rifleman. Real good TV show. Very classic. You know, you'll get a say, but this team today gets a grade of I, as in incomplete.
That's true. Like the Jets today play like drunk college fraternity boys, honestly. And I could probably coach better than drunk than Aaron Glenn, honestly.
I was going to ask you a question. What fraternity are you?
I'm not a fraternity, but I'm saying if I was, I had 3 drinks. Even me, I drink beers all the time in France. Beast. I could probably coach better having 3 beers than Aaron Glenn did all season. Honestly, Aaron Glenn is the worst Jets coach I've ever seen. You know what I said? A fraternity day odd party. I could probably, with 3 beers in me, drinking 3 beers, I could coach better than Aaron Glenn. Honestly.
20-some years ago.
He's that inept of a head coach. Honestly,
at my graduation party, I drank 16 shots of Jack Daniels with iced tea, and I was more effed up than Aaron Glenn was. And then the next day, I had a kid turn.
Are you satisfied with your Beast conversation, Mad Max?
I was satisfied, honestly. And I was like saying a comment. I could probably coach better than Aaron Glenn drunk, honestly, with 3 beers in me. Because Aaron Glenn is delusional, honestly.
Mad Max, how much Adderall have you had today?
0.
How many Red Bulls?
0.
How many cups of coffee?
0. But honestly,
how much white stuff?
0. Honestly, Jake, I'm just always energetic. But honestly, we need to fire Aaron Glenn. You know, fire Glenn. You know what they should have just done at the game? The Jets fans who were even at this game. God bless you all for going to this game. They should have been like, they should have had a chant at the game, be like, fire Glenn, fire Glenn, fire Glenn. Honestly.
What do you guys' opinion on me doing a backflip through this orange wall?
Ladies and gentlemen, Mad Max. Mr. Hink writes in, Tannenbaum should not be involved with the Jets' decisions anymore. If the Jets mess up this draft/picks with Glenn, franchise will never recover. Again, Mike will never be involved in the Jets hiring a coach again if it ends up being as bad as it looks like it's headed with Glenn. All right? Don't blame. Honestly, you could blame Tannenbaum. That's fine. It's on the owner. The owner made this hire. All right? It's easy to blame Mike. I work with Mike every Sunday. We disagree on Glenn immensely, and we argue on the air. But I'll defend Mike. He's not the only one to blame here. He gives a recommendation. He recommends candidates for the Jets to interview. They interviewed a bunch of candidates. Woody signs off on these hires. It's his decision. It's easy to blame Tannenbaum. It's on the owner of the team. for this hire. He's got to recognize his choice, his decision. Come on. Before we get to the raffle, I'm going to play you something that was said on the show from a popular Lions podcaster when he called in to talk to us about Aaron Glenn. Because I think everything he said a couple months ago remains true. And that's alarming for any diehard fan of this team that wants to see the Jets actually figure their bleep out.
Hey, how's it going, guys? It's a Lions fan here. Wanted to
You want Aaron Glenn back?
No, absolutely do not want Aaron Glenn back. I definitely feel your pain. Aaron Glenn is definitely not the head coach material for your team. And I am sorry that you guys got bit on this lie. Aaron Glenn in Detroit was extremely arrogant, would never change his ways, but his in-game play calling is atrocious. Not scoring before the halftime twice, that's crazy. This is how he is, Jets fans. He has a way and he doesn't change. I could tell you for 3 years, the mobile quarterback would rip our defense up, do something, make a change, bench players. He wouldn't do it. Years of this. Guys, I think you got Matt Patricia 2.0. When we restarted compared to what you guys is completely different. We basically got a new owner. We got a new general manager. Chris Spielman came in and helped out. We brought in a bunch of Lions former greats. My boss, Herman Moore, he was brought in. You have Barry Sanders in there. Dan Campbell, the blue collar, grit, former player, humble guy. He's never thinking he's better than anybody else. And then you got Brad Holmes, who was all about, finding talent. You put them together. When we had the organization, we had no talent in this team, and we knew we were going to suck. We had nobody, but we had to build it the correct way through the draft. This team has sucked for so long. What we have been doing for many years does not work. We watched the games. We knew that the players were competitive. We knew that our coaches were doing the best that they could do, but we just didn't have the talent. That is the difference between the Lions and the Jets. You guys have far more talent. The quarterback position is one thing that is hurting your team, but the arrogance of Aaron Glenn, inability to remove Justin Fields or bring in another quarterback is what is destroying your franchise right now. I really hope they terminate Aaron Glenn for you and your fans. As a Lions fan, I know what misery is like. I know what watching terrible football is like. And I know when you have somebody that runs a franchise that can really hurt it for many, many years. I really hope they let him go. I think you guys made the wrong hire. I think the media completely lied to you. Everybody said he was this great genius, but as a Lions fan who watched defense every single game and called plays, I was losing my mind. It is not what they told you. Yes, we had injuries. Can't discount all the other years that he was with us. Our defense was trash the whole time. It was 31, 32, 30. And then now we get Shep come in, and it's doing great. You guys do got talent. You're going to have a high draft pick, but they got to cut the cancer out.
We appreciate it, Mike. I'm definitely rooting for the Lions and their fans, another tortured franchise. And then, by the way, Lions this year. Oh, the Jets want to be the Lions. What have the Lions really done, right? I gladly change places, believe me, but can we stop with the Lions comps? They had the great year when they went to the NFC title game. Then they're 15-2 at home and flamed out against a rookie quarterback with 2 weeks to prepare for that guy. Glenn's defense got torched by Jaden Daniels. And this year, without Ben Johnson, they haven't been the same team. All right, is the Lions run already over? So best case scenario, Aaron Glenn gives us 3 years of good football. Really 2. They were 9-8 and missed the playoffs in 2022. Then they had a great year, went to the championship game in 23. 2024, they were the 1 seed, but flamed out early. That's what we're building for? It's better than anything we've had. I'm not going to lie, but everyone says, we want to be the Lions. I'm not sure if that's the blueprint. And the Lions have a quarterback. And they had Ben Johnson, who developed Goff or worked with Goff. He didn't develop him. Goff was obviously under the tutelage of McVay, but Goff was accomplished already. He was in a slump, and the Rams got rid of him. But the Jets have a rookie next year starting for them, or a bridge. Marcus Mariota, Malik Willis, whoever. This doesn't just get better. Hey, there's a little hope as I'm about to get to our raffle coming up. The Raiders did score a touchdown, so they're down 10 going into the 4th. Geno Smith, 4th and goal. Nice pass. Who was that, Tucker who scored? Or Luckett? All right, whatever. Lockett, excuse me. So maybe some hope there, I guess. I don't know. Again, the Jets, if they stay at 3, they'll be there if the Giants lose. Or, excuse me, if the Raiders lose. because the Giants will drop the 2 because the Jets' strength of schedule is 549. The Giants is 528. So the Jets would still be at number 3. Now, if they lose next week and maybe the Giants win, that'd be great. Maybe the Raiders win because they're playing the Chiefs. There's still a path for the number 1 pick. And there's still a path for the Jets to get to number 2 as well if some strength of schedule stuff goes their way. But that's so convoluted, we'll have all week to break that down. So there's your final update on the tank standings here entering the Asmaniac Raffle. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello right now to a man who will get us ready for the Asmaniac Raffle, Bruce Blubber.
You could kiss my big, big ass. Woo! What a dark day. What a dark day from hell this has been. It's a
dark day indeed, Beast. Dark day indeed.
I got 3 guys who I'm gonna carry under my wing, and we're gonna turn this fucking team into a fucking combat team. And I'm gonna start off with doing a little Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're not gonna have your mummies and your daddies behind you anymore. You're soft. You lack discipline. You got nothing better to do but bitch, whine, and complain. Now it's time to turn that mush into muscles. Now let's put that aside. It's time to spin the Jake Asman Wheel of Champions for the day.
Come on, give us some energy. Let's go.
I know, but today was bad. But you know what? I'll give it my best Macho Man impression. Okay, folks. Now that the bullshit is all over with and done with, let's spin the Jake Asman Wheel of Champions. Don't you know it? Yeah.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac Raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
That's how it's done, Beast. Well done. Hey, good luck to everyone who entered today. You're in the weekly raffle. If you don't win, have no fear. If you do win, I need you to email me, asmanjake@gmail.com. Your name, your address, and we'll get that signed Chad Pennington helmet sent out to you. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my God, hold on. Oh my God. Bro, the Giants just scored on the kick. You got to be shitting me, man. I said forget. Hold on. We'll get to the raffle in a second. I said forget, it's going to be 20-10 going to the fourth quarter. There were 30 seconds left, so I rounded up. The Giants just scored on the kickoff. God, the Raiders are they have this tanking thing down to a science. Forget it. There goes that. I spoke way too soon. There goes that. Unbelievable. Unreal. God, the Giants are going to win because the Raiders are just like, we are not winning this game. Oh, you cut it within 10? Watch this. All right. Raffle time again. Unbelievable. All right, here we go. Good luck to all. The winner is Big Country. Big Country, you're the winner. And that means a Chad Pennington signed helmet is coming your way. Congrats to Big Country. You guys are great. Love all of you. Thank you for tuning into the post game. We only have one more of these left of the 20 we do during the year. Thank you all for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It does help. You can watch me on television tonight. I'm on NBC after Sunday Night Football, and I'm getting up early as I'm hosting morning radio from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. all week this week, Monday through Thursday. Then I'm in for Michael K on Friday. So a lot of radio, TV tonight. We're going to keep it rolling with the YouTube conversation as well. I'll be live with Beningo at 11 a.m. tomorrow. So, man, this team might stink. Aaron Glenn might be totally inept as a head coach, but you guys are the best. So I can't thank you enough for continuing to tune in, vent your frustrations, and we all want the same thing at the end of the day, whether we agree or disagree. We all just want the Jets to not be dog crap. Maybe one day they won't be. Right now they still are, but we'll continue to be here every step of the way. And I'll leave you guys with something that has never debuted on the show before. The latest single from Gator McCluskey. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the hit song, Bobby, Jump Her Bones. Go Jets. Talk to you on TV tonight, radio tomorrow morning, and YouTube with Joe B at 11 a.m. See ya.
I wanted to jump above you, asshole. I wanted to jump above. And I wanted to jump above you, asshole. I don't want to jump above. She's very attractive. I don't want to talk to people with no ideas. Not that I want to jump bones, but you're very attractive. I don't want to jump above. I wanted to jump above you, asshole. I wanted to jump above. Can I say hello to my lover? I don't wanna jump above. You know,
I had a kid to it.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets.